Hello, this is Corrine here from Corrine's Crafts. Thank you for coming over to my YouTube channel to watch my tutorials. You're very welcome and thank you for all of your support. Today's card is really simple. I thought we'd do a little bit of ink blending and colouring and stamping off the edge of a card. And just to make it even better, we've done a little bit of a coordinating insert. People often ask me about the inside of my card, so I just thought we'd have a go with an insert as well. The finished size of this card is 5 3/4 by 5 1/4, so it's a nice small card, just a couple of gems. Really lovely, very quick to make, very simple, but oh my goodness me, how effective is that? So let's see how we made it. Shall we see how this card is made? It really isn't a very big card. I'm starting off with a piece of card that is 4.5 inches by 5 1/4. So it really isn't very big. Now this is watercolour cardstock, and you'll see why I'm using watercolour cardstock in a few minutes. So I've got a couple of my water reactive ink pads. I've got these ones. You might have Tim Holtz ones, you know, you use whichever ones you've got. Now I've talked about heavy colours and light colours, and for me pink needs to go at the bottom and yellow needs to go at the top. You could put it that way around. I personally want it to go that way around because for me the pink is heavier. I know there's no such thing as a heavy colour, but it looks to me better that they sit that way around. So that's what I'm going to do. Call it silly, but that's how it feels to me. So time for tea blending brushes, the ones I always go. So this, I want some ink up 1/2 of my card. So I'm going to put the pink on the bottom and I'm just going to blend it on. Look at it, you get no swirling, no cloud effects when you do this. So I'm going to put some pink on, just like this. Pick up a bit more if I need to. I'm going to be doing some faux bleaching on this, so go a little bit darker than you thought you needed. And I'm going to make life a bit easier and bring my yellow over. And then we're going to do yellow. Always tap it first. That's my personal choice. And then I can go back in and pick that up. Oh, no, I've just put red on, pink on rather. Yellow's at this end. Let's make sure it really is yellow. After putting that on. There we go. Right, go in with the yellow. I love Honey Pot. It's just that a little bit more depth of colour. So I just love that. So 2 colours. You could be using any colours that you got. Do you see that? I nearly put my pink in the pink brush in the yellow ink pad. I'm not doing very well. I just want to kick it out a little bit at the bottom. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this stamp set. It's really old. It's taken me ages to get it off the cling film. Yeah, beautiful set. Again, I believe it's a Stamps by Me one. Now when you look at this, you'll see it's actually, I've made my cardstock a little bit smaller, but that's fine. So what I want to do is I want to come off the top, off the bottom and off the side. So I want a sort of a panel running down. Look at it. I need my colour to come over a little bit more because I want it to cover the bit of the sentiment. So I'll just keep bringing in my stamp just so that I can see how far I need to go with the colour. There's no problem in just placing your stamp over the top and having a look. Now, one thing, when I did my sort of test one, what I did was I did actually go in a little bit after and put a little bit more ink on. Again, that's not a problem. I'm just going to put the lids on my inks. So let's just pick up that because otherwise I'm going to get filthy. All right, stamping platform. Always use a stamping platform when you've got a stamp, especially this big. Oh no, I've missed out a step. Dear me. Okay, let's try again. So I've got my colour all laid down. I've got my spray bottle for my water. And I'm just going to spray over the top. Now this is almost like a continuous spray and it's a very fine. So I'm just going to do that first and you can see the little droplets. The longer the water's on there, the more it bleaches out. And I'm going to put some in my hand and I'm going to allow a few bigger drops. Now I'm just going to hold my hand. What I actually did earlier was I put my glue bottle on because it's just going to help hold it flat. It will flatten out, don't worry. Oh, that's just going in one place, that. I don't want it all just there. Now you can, it's better. You can flick and do, but I just like it on my hand so I can control. Now can you see these? I'm going to leave those just for a minute. Excuse the glue bottle, it just stops everything running. Just makes it flat. So you can see the longer it's on, the more it's lifting, and I want that lift effect. So once I've got it where I think it's going to be enough, it's hard. You want to just put your tissue on and stop. Paper towel, cloth, whatever you've got. I just go over the top and I press. I don't rub, I press. Just press it down and you can see all the ink lifting off. And then I can lift it up and I've got that gorgeous faux bleach. So what I need to do is just give that a quick dry. Just bear with me while I dry that. I'll be right back. Okay, there we go. We've got that now. The reason is we're going to stamp onto here and we don't want to stamp onto something that's wet. Even using a water reactive ink pad, we don't want to be stamping onto something that's wet. So I'm going to pop that up against the edge. That's just going to help me to see that I've got it straight by going up to the edge. And I'm going to get my stamp. As I said, I'm going to go off the top, off the bottom and off the end, just like that. It's entirely up to you how much of the stamp you use. Now, the other way to do this is to actually start with a much bigger piece of card and then trim it down when you finish. But for me, it helps me to get my eye in on the proportions if I have my cardstock either at the size I want or roughly, you know what I mean, roughly the size. So maybe just trim off a couple of millimeters. It just helps because I can see what I'm doing. I can get my perspective. So let's just use my pressure tool, stamp on there. Big stamp. I'm going to have 2 stamps, I think. Not a bad coverage on that. Look at that. And I love that. It was as if I could see where that was going to go. So let's come down here. 1 more stamp. Tap, tap onto your stamp. Don't rub. Just tap, tap, tap. Think about where you want to concentrate on the colours. There we go. I am using a waterproof ink. I'm using my Ranger Archival, so it's permanent and it's waterproof because there could still be water in this paper. So because of that, I need to use a waterproof ink pad. If I used one suitable for alcohol inks, it would smudge, it would bleed a little bit. So I'm just putting some pressure on. Look at that. If you want to do another coat, go for another coat. I'm actually going to do another coat. You know me, I like to stamp 3 times. Anyway, I always say that. Let's just do 1 more, just for that intensity of colour. There we go. And then I can lift it off. I'm definitely not doing any more. 3 is enough. 3 is enough. There we go. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is bring in my sentiment stamp. I'm just going to move it over a little bit. There we go. And I've got I Love You. Now, what I thought was really sweet was I can hug that leaf with the design. And I thought that looked really cute. So there we go. We can pop that onto there. Oh, I just want to make sure that's straight because I've not got the paper on straight. So I just want to make sure that is. I think it is. So we can pop that on. Pick that up with my ink pad. And then onto here. There we go. Again, I don't know how many stamps I will need. You can see how it goes. Just a little bit of pressure. And then, oh, perfect first time. Look at that. It's as if it's growing into the sentiment. I love that. There you go. Now, what you might want to do is have a quick look. And you might want to just see about, do you want to bring the colour out anymore? You know, do you want it over? I don't want it all over. So I want the sentiment to be half in the colour and half in the white. There we go, just like that. And I've got the splats however you want. There we go. How about that? That's the main bit of my card. Now, I did this a minute ago, another one. So you can see it comes out different every single time. You pick the one that works for you. So really, really simple card. So card base, it is just over 5 3/4. It's about 5 7/8 by 5 1/8. I just work upwards and see what I've got. I've got some Centura Pearl in fuchsia because I just think it's exactly the same colour match. So we can put that on first. Again, this isn't going to be a raised card. It's not going to have lots of layers or anything because it's so, so pretty. There we go. Right, I was going to start. I think I might actually have a go. You're going to have to bear with me because we're going to be doing it on the hoof. Should we do an insert as well to go in it? Now, it's a 10th fold card, so we can do it really, really simply. So there's the black. Because everything about this card is black, white and pink. So that's going on. And again, you've seen how I do. Let's just get that pressure tool out. Give it a little bit of burnish. Just make sure there's no air bubbles and it makes sure everything fits. Let's grab one of those. I could make 2 cards because I've made 2 of these. How beautiful would that be? We can put that one in there. And then that will go like that. There we are. Oops. Right, there we are. Just make sure everything's still lined up. Okay, make sure I just press a little bit of pressure. And the last little bit I'm going to do for the front, I've got my black gems. So we're going to just put a couple, one. Oh, it's too heavy, too big. Two. And I'm going to get, oh, I'm not sure if I've ever used one of those ones before. One of those tiny ones. There we go. How about like that? Lovely, absolutely gorgeous. Okay, bear with me. I'm going to pause the film and I'm just going to cut a few bits so we can make an insert as well. I'll be right back. Right, I'm back. So I have cut the same things, but I've just done it a little bit smaller. Can you see? So that is just about the same size, 5 1/4, 5 1/4 by 4 1/2 as my front. So these are just a little bit smaller. So what we're going to do is we are going to get our inks exactly as we did before. Now this is just multi-purpose cardstock, but it's about one of the thinnest. Oh, I just put a mark on there. It's one of the thinnest I could find. So let me think. So it's there. So let's just put some pink on. But I'm not going to go anywhere near as far across this time. So we're just going to come across. Can you see it comes on different with the multi-purpose, but that's absolutely fine because that's I want a different look. I want something that somebody can write on. I'm just going to be careful with my hands because I think they're quite mucky. So let's just bring in some yellow. We don't often do the inserts, but I just thought for today we'd do, because I often get asked, how would you do an insert in the card? So I'm just going to put on a little bit more pink. I'm not going to do the faux bleach. I don't think I am. We'll see. I don't think I am. So we're just putting that on. So we're just going across just a little bit. Can you see, just like that? There we go. And then we're going to get the stamping platform back in. Take out the stamp that's still in there. These are just like matte layers to boost it out. I had a stamp that wasn't very thick, so I just was boosting it out. Oh, the magnets are so good in these. Put that on there. Right, so this time I'm going to go even less of the stamp across. Oh, it's that way around, isn't it? I'm just going to bring in just the edges. Can you see, just like that? And then, oh, pick it all up. I'm still going to use the same ink just so that it carries across. Don't worry about those marks. They're just marks where it's going to stamp anyway. So let's just ink that up. I only need to ink up one half of the stamp because I'm hardly using any of the, you can't see. I'm only inking up half the stamp because that's really all I'm going to be using. Bring that across. Give it a good burnish. It'll tape really well because it's multi-purpose cardstock. There we go. So what you'll see here is the colours are a bit more muted because it's the insert. Now you can sometimes get inserts on vellums and things like that. I didn't want to do that because I don't know, I just didn't want to do that. But I wanted just to tone it down a little bit. So what I've got is I've got my black and my pink. And I've got this one. So you can see it works through, but it's slightly different. Now, if you wanted to put a sentiment in straight away, pop that in now. We could stamp happy birthday in there or anything like that. But I'm not going to. I'm going to leave that blank. Don't worry about these bits on the back. I don't know what I've touched. It's on the back, luckily. So onto the inside. Now, some people do like a lift up insert. I'm just going to be doing an insert that's there when you open it. Like I say, it's not very often I do inserts. But for today, we are today. We can pop that in there. And because this is flat, do you know what? Even if I decide I want a sentiment stamped on there, I could still come back in and do it. The other thing you could do is you could have printed it on your printer, stamped a sentiment on there, because it's just multi-purpose cardstock, and then done your blending and everything else after that. Now, because it's an insert and it's for writing on, that's wibbly and wobbling. That was technical term, wibbling and wobbling. There we go. I am not going to put any gems or anything on there. Glue pickup stick. I've got a little bit of glue on there. There we go. Straight off. I love my glue pickup rubbers. They're brilliant. So there we go. So you can see on the front, we've got that design. We've got the colours coming across. How simple has this been to make? I've got my sentiment. Really, really lovely. Then when you open it out, it's like a muted version of the front with plenty of room to write on. Like I say, not very often I show the insides, but I just thought this was going to be too good to miss. So thank you for watching. Please come back and watch again. All the links are going to be down here to my tools, to my blending brushes, everything that I can find. Yep, so that you can do it. I've also got a link to my Buy Me a Coffee page, and thank you to everybody that's been supporting me through that so far. I really do appreciate every single one of you. I hope you enjoyed this really quick, simple card, but it's Sunday. We want simple cards, don't we? So yeah, and I will be back very shortly with another project for you very soon. So until then, goodbye.